So, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. To anybody who may end up dropping in on the stream. Welcome. Thank you for sharing some small piece of your Christmas Eve with me. I want to see how much this light necklace affects the my drawing and the table cam before I decide to take it off. Also, let's fix this. That's a little bit better. Gonna need some more light. That's okay. There we go. Sort of. Also, you guys can see my Charlie Brown tree, which I've actually had in the background since the beginning of the week. And hopefully somebody's caught that. Also, my Spider-Man stocking. I'll take that off in a minute, maybe. Let's show it up close. I think I'm ready to go as far as the Christmassy, decoration-y stuff. Let's see how annoying leaving these lights on is gonna be towards how the table's gonna look. How far do these lights go out? Not very. Yeah, probably leave this on if that's the case. We're gonna do a few more things today with our masking tape. I'm gonna try a few more things that I have been wanting to try for a little while. We'll see how it goes. First thing is, to use. Yeah, the idea is gonna be work on some perspective today. Get rid of this. That was a false start if ever I saw one. How do I want to do this? Sometimes you have the idea in your head, but you're really not sure about how exactly to put it on the page. Alrighty. Let's see what we can come up with here. What I will probably do is something like this. What I will also do is, this seems like a great big mess now, but it's very important. See? Because I thought the idea, okay, I should probably start explaining. The idea when we're talking about perspective is, like for buildings and that sort of thing, is to establish a vanishing point. Once you establish that, then things become a little bit clearer as to what needs to happen next. You're gonna have, I'm gonna lower this so I can fit my T-square in here. You're gonna have all these vertical lines. The vertical lines can remain vertical. Horizontal lines can remain horizontal for the most part. Any line that is at an angle is going to have to obey this vanishing point. And then once you know where that vanishing point's supposed to go, then you know where many of your other lines are going to go next. For example, you got a straight line here, and as a matter of fact, I'll even make it a little bit, I'll even mix it up, put it here. And since I don't consider myself any great authority on drafting, which is just a fancy word for drawing things in perspective, I'd recommend looking up people far more talented and skilled than I am for much more in-depth insight into these sorts of things. My perspective is usually pretty basic. I'm going to do some of these things and they're going to appear random, or they're going to appear like it's not entirely clear how I'm doing it, because I haven't explained it very well. Not yet, anyway. For now, the most important thing is that everything obeys the vanishing point. You have your vanishing point here, and you have the edge of your structure here. So that means the line that starts at this corner and goes back will follow across there. And here. See, we thought by my eyeballing it, we thought it was here, but it's actually here. Vanishing point, corner. That was not too far off. It certainly could have been better. And we do it again here. We can do it again and again and again. As a matter of fact, what I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while, which is bring back my city reference section. And to do that, I'm going to come down here. Let's see. Let's take that out of there. And let's put this back. Let's put this in. There we go. Let's see if that between looking at that, which is some of my favorite reference pictures, and looking at what I'm doing here, hopefully you can get a fairly decent idea of what I'm doing and how I'm attempting to do it. Eraser. Let me get rid of this completely because that was just ill-fated. As we get closer to the edge of the page, the angles are going to go out. We're going to go farther out. Just remember, it's going to be tricky with all these rulers I'm throwing around here. Keep your horizontal lines horizontal and your vertical lines vertical. And it will be your diagonal lines that will inform the perspective. You really gotta not be so preoccupied here. We'll even bring one up here because it's also important to know how perspective changes, how the vanishing point changes, what it does as we go along, as the height of the vertical changes. And what I mean by that is, let's say we divide all of this stuff by millimeters, right? Nice even measurement, which you see a lot of in architecture. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You get the idea. I'm gonna go as far as there. I've marked all of these now. And what happens is I've still got my vanishing point right here, which hopefully you guys can see that. If not, I'll make that dot a little bit more obvious. And what happens is you got this dot and that marking that I made and line. And then we rotate, keep the vanishing point and change this line of intersection, right? keep doing that, and suddenly these diagonal lines start changing. Right? Yeah. Now, how accurate this looks, because the more off you are with your measurements, the more obvious it's going to look as your perspective changes, or as the perspective lines change. So you got to be pretty on point with your measurements, otherwise it's gonna be noticeable when something is not quite the way it should be. But there we go. Now, if I wanted to do this, if we're measuring this way, we'll measure here, right? We'll go by half this time. We'll see where that leaves us, right? Maybe someplace good, maybe someplace bad. Let's find out. Yeah, probably don't want to do that. So instead, I'll widen it out a little bit more each time. There's a much better way to measure this. I know it. But so we'll go a little bit more each time. Probably going for more likely something like this. A little bit. That's a little bit better representation of 1, 2, 3, 4. How I was trying to do this in the first place. Slightly better. These other lines are going to end up being kind of distracting, but also because I meant for them to end right about there. Yeah, definitely a little bit rusty. But this is the basic idea. The most basic idea. Trust me. me switch this. Just wanted to finish this because it's going to look really weird unless I do. Or unless I just cut this building short. This is a not being able to read your own handwriting type of situation. And you mark certain things on a page and you can't remember why. That'll do for now. I should mention we're eventually painting over most of this stuff. But then we're eventually going to paint back over that. Once again, as usual, I just ask you guys to trust me. Now, relatively basic shapes here. Let's see, everything still obeys the perspective, everything still obeys the vanishing point. Like this. That's a vertical line. That's a horizontal line, but that's diagonal, and that obeys the vanishing point. Right? That's how you get it. Another example. These all vertical, but these are diagonal. They obey. That's how it starts looking like something that's three-dimensional. And like I said last time, most art is an act of creating optical illusion. It's convincing somebody's eyes, and as a result, somebody's brain, with the two-dimensional space that they're obviously looking at, can depict a three-dimensional thing. When it comes to perspectives, a lot of prep time. Not always the most exciting stuff in the world. But when you do it right, it ends up looking pretty nice. After a while, you just learn how to manipulate your space. I don't want to give excuse me. I don't want to give a ton of detail on here. Like I said, first of all, we're gonna be painting it. Second of all, it's not exactly the focal point of all of what we're doing tonight. Despite, let me make sure I word this without sounding like a total idiot. This is our foreground. Foreground, much like a background, usually exists to give an actual subject a space to exist in. And that's what we're working on now. Probably should have put this up a little bit higher to clear the T-square area. That's okay, I guess. I mean, it's not okay, it's really annoying, but work around it for now. I'm almost done with what I need to do here. A little bit tricky when you want to do diagonals like this that don't obey the vanishing point because they're facing a different direction. Okay. It's a very basic lesson in perspective, trust me. Now, what I do next, we're going to do something very similar to what we did on Tuesday. I'm going to mask this off. Mask this off too. Now, ordinarily, I would cut these all to size and all that good stuff. That's all well and good, but it doesn't make for a very entertaining stream. And I have a feeling I'm already tempting fate with my with how interested I can make my audience, such as it were. So once again, gotta do a little proof of concept here. And there's some parts that I'm not gonna be able to avoid cutting, which means I'm gonna have to find a knife. Fortunately, I know where to find one. One moment, please. Good old X-Acto knife. Had this one for a very long time. And it rarely, if ever, fails me. Where's my ruler? Of course. Let's get that out of there. Okay, now we get to do the relatively easier part, which is putting some color on here. Let's see. Yep. It's going to be transparent color. Still see all of those wonderful pencil lines for now. We'll be doing something with those soon enough. I don't know if I mentioned it, but just a reminder that it is red week, so there's going to be a whole lot of red in this one. Basically mostly red, if not entirely red. In some form or another. Okay, I'm gonna dry this, and hopefully it doesn't completely screw me over when I try to take it off. A little bit too thin. Let's go back into that. A little bit too much water there. That's okay. I want it to be fairly dark while still staying as transparent as it possibly can be. That's gonna be tricky. That's gonna be a balancing act. Something. Absolutely sure I'm not just using. No, that's orange. It's definitely orange. Okay. Let's see what it's look like. Yeah. See what it's gonna look like dry now. Moment of truth time. So far, so good. Definitely some areas where the paint bled through. I'm hoping for a minimum of that. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Alright. What we got here? Not bad. Not bad at all. We're gonna do that with the rest of this too. Let's see. Oop. I'm getting too carried away here. I saw something that worked and now I'm jumping too far ahead or jumping ahead a little bit too quickly. I'm gonna keep that discipline. I'm gonna keep that gotta stay focused. Too easy to get excited when you do one thing correctly and then end up doing something else much more incorrectly. So I can take this off or move it so that it's covering what it needs to be covered. Yeah, yeah. Not quite. The reason why I was such a stickler for the perspective is because I was going to need to line this tape up very exactly. I think it's time. Dang. Okay. Ready to go. I'm also going to have to remove this one from down here. Okay. Yep. Alright. Go from one shade of red to another. One other thing that I can offer in terms of advice when it comes to working with masking tape is paint away from it when you can. This way it's less likely that these bristles push paint underneath the tape, which is, if you remember, a concern of mine. And if you've seen it happen to you before, you'd understand why it should be a concern of yours as well. Maybe swipe once to get into the corner. Hey, Linz. Glad you could make it. You're just in time for, you missed all of the, yeah, I determined that, this light necklace wasn't really, causing a distraction on the drawing board over here, so I decided to just leave it on. It's been sitting in my drawer all year, and I haven't had a chance to use it, so I might as well use it on stream. Also fix my Santa Claus hat so that it doesn't, you know, the part that I had to cut open so my head would fit and it wouldn't just be visibly flying out in the back. I'm gonna do some last minute sewing tonight, which I was not expecting. That's fine. I do not have a fat head. This was an unusually small Santa Claus hat. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, time to dry this off. Got a little Jack Daniels Winter Jack. Some cider for a little bit later. I've only got so much of this. I use it very sparingly. I got what's left of this. And then I got one more. And this stuff is usually hard to find. Except that one time I saw like a whole shelf of it in Florida. And I thought I'd come back and get it. And I never went back to get it. I'm not happy about that. A little bit of bleed through there. This artist or this drafting tape is meant to be not very sticky, so it's not harsh on your page unless you really press down hard with it or wet it. Yeah, that's about how. Huh. Yeah, that has potential. That right there has some potential. Okay. I had my fun. See, you missed, Lindsay specifically, you missed earlier when I started this off. I was given a very, very, very basic, like a very middle school level 1-point perspective lesson. We'll revisit that a little bit later. Actually, I'll take this off because I'm probably going to be drawing something upside down. Jimmy's watching now. Probably because he sees red and orange and white and he thinks that I'm drawing him. That's my guess. My artwork is very gingery today. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I meant to start doing. I meant to do my own independent research as to whether or not my voice is ASMR for cats. Should be just the ultimate cruel joke. Quite. quite graceful enough. Yeah, that'll work. Once it's done, once it's ready to go. Okay. Another thing I want to make sure I get right, considering this is a fairly minimalist sort of deal here. Make sure I make what I have quite good. Also, at some point, I'll probably do something having to do with detailing, you know, giving more detail as to anatomy and figure drawing at a later time. Right now, it's a bit of a tall order to get into specifics of. Not that the 1 point perspective lesson wasn't a tall order, but I was gonna do it anyway, so I figured I might as well talk about it. Also, figure drawing is one of those things that's a little bit more of a thing that you just kind of have to do firsthand. You ultimately just have to kind of do it firsthand to really get it. Okay. I'll do something very similar to what we did during our flash painting. And that is just fill in the basics. Start with the basics and go from. Start with the basic form and go from there. This being, as I hope it's clear now to anybody with some passing comic book knowledge, this being Daredevil. It's fairly easy to fill him in because, much like the Flash, his costume's all red. Yeah, I knew you were this. That wasn't by accident. I knew you were gonna ask me any minute now, so I thought I beat you to it. I've known you for a little bit too long. Maybe. And besides, you do the same thing to me, so all's fair. Sure seems that way sometimes. Okay. Not terrible. The pint is done though. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a very quick break and refill my drink. And my drink. It is Christmas Eve and this time to drink appropriately, responsibly, but appropriately. One moment, please. So we're back. I left my mic unmuted, so you may have been able to hear me pouring my drink. But I'm also gonna take this cider and have a little Christmas Eve toast. I'm actually going to have a toast to my Christmas present, which is currently in transit through no fault whatsoever of the person who sent it. So I'm gonna toast to my late Christmas present, and I'm gonna toast with this shot glass from Merry Christmas. That's some good cider. Also, this gives me an opportunity to use my my winter-themed glass here. I'll put that aside because I would like to finish this before I don't make the rules, and also I allowed it anyway, so quit your belly aching. Alright, where was I? Probably gonna end up going back over some of this area here with some white paint and fixing some spots that I don't care for, that are just gonna bug me until I do fix them. Take Andy, what up? How you doing? Hope your Christmas Eve is going well. Thanks for coming. Hope you stick around for long enough for me to show you what I got going on here. LED on my shirt? It's around my neck, so, you know. We all celebrate in our own ways. Now, what happened to my red? Here it goes. We're drawing tonight. We're painting some Daredevil tonight. This week is, for me on my stream, this week is, I'm calling it Red Week. So, the month of December, I had a green week and now I've got a red week. For reasons that I hope are fairly obvious. Where am I from? I am from New York. I'm from New York City, actually. My friend Lindsay, who goes by the name Pagan Lovebug, who is in the chat right now, says that I have a very pronounced accent, but I can't hear it anymore. So I have to take her word for it. I'm from Germany, but you're Polish. I can't remember. I know Guten Tag, but I can't remember if that. I want to say that means good day, but it may mean good evening. So I'm sure you German-speaking folk will correct me if I need correcting. I'm drunk as fuck. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to getting there. So it's that kind of evening. Generally just that kind of night, so right now, see, I keep forgetting. One of these days I'm gonna remember consistently to mix colors on camera. What do you mean it didn't get through? It got through for me. I don't know what happened with you. Oh, it did get through, yeah. That's because I allowed it previously. Probably because you said it previously. Quit freaking out. Take this opportunity to expand your vocabulary. Oh, never mind. Should have known where that was going. Feel bad when you don't get viewers, or you think one view is enough? I try not to think about it too much, and I try to put on a good stream, no matter how many viewers happen to be here. do it if nobody's here? Are you that dedicated? I've done it before. I've streamed before with nobody here, because you never know. There was nobody here a little while ago, and then you guys showed up, so there's always a chance. Search for minimum views. Most people don't do that. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad you took a chance on yeah, thanks for the follow. I'm glad you took a chance on a relatively lowly attended stream. Being Christmas Eve, I am not expecting a whole lot of traffic tonight. You know, a lot of this is just because I happen to want to do it, so I happen to want to stream tonight. I felt like drawing, I felt like painting, and these days, now that I have the ability to, when I can, I like to draw and paint live on the intermittents. So thanks for coming. What's more interesting is nobody watches. So does that mean like if like more people start watching the stream, you're gonna stop watching? Is that how that works? Like if I make affiliate, are you gonna unfollow me? Is that the standard operating procedure? That's not cool. Let's see if I can hold your attention. Let's see the start now, the 10K follower thing. Yeah, I got a long way to go to 10,000 followers, so I guess there's at least that. All right, let me marker this part up here. What was I using before? This is where I have to test all of my skin tone markers. There we go. That'll work. I need a skin tone marker for every skin tone. Or at least every approximation of a skin tone. You even need one for you? I've got one for you. I've got one right here for you, see? blender. See? It's totally clear and mostly alcohol. Yeah. Yeah, like you didn't think I was gonna have that ready and waiting for you to ask me that question. Oh, do you know me at all? Oof. Ah, that was a bad idea. Damn it. This is what happens when you're not 100% sober. You make stupid mistakes like that. Alright. I have to perform some surgery here. This is the downside to using watercolor paints. Sometimes they don't dry as well as you think they would. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to use the stupid whiteout pen. I was hoping not to have to do that. I was really not expecting to have to do it quite this much, but alright. Anyway, next thing that we're going to do here. Now, clear out a spot. Let me clear out a bigger spot on the palette here. It's not that. I mean, it probably doesn't look that bad to you just because of the way it looks on the camera, but it's quite glaring in real life, and I don't like it, and I'm not very happy about that having happened. So, but we're here, we're live. I don't want to dwell too much on it. Got some color in the background. No, actually the whole thing is I wanted to keep this part white for reasons that you were about to see right now. For the most part. I know how to fix it, don't worry. You'll see. Trust me. Trust me. Do you trust me? If I was backseat painting with you, if I was backseat painting one of your paintings, you'd be super pissed at me, so. You shouldn't trust me more than your own mama. Your own mama's somebody you should always trust. Anyway. Okay. This is what happens when you don't put your paints away after you're done the last time you used them. One moment, please. Certainly not Christmas talk. Alright. This is what I was trying to do. There's a little bit too much gray in this this watercolor white that I was using. And I don't like it. And I prefer to use something much more opaque. There we go. That's what I was going for. Great at makeup, would I? Yeah. That's interesting, I guess. Never really thought about it. Son of a... It's just gonna keep rearing its ugly head at me. Special effects makeup. I think I've only ever tried doing that once, and that was for me and a bunch of my friends. We actually wanted to go all out for Halloween one year. We actually bought an airbrush. We bought an airbrush and specific like movie style makeup paint. And we just holed up. We all just holed up at my friend's house. We were in Massachusetts at the time. And, yeah, just... In hindsight, we probably should have done our experimenting before Halloween. We waited until actual Halloween to really try to figure out how the hell the airbrush worked and what we could and couldn't do with it. But... what was I going as? I think that year was Classic Monsters, so we tried to do a much more elaborate version of the year before. So I actually did I was actually the guinea pig for going as for Wolfman, for the Wolfman makeup, which ironically required me to have to shave all of this completely to be able to do it the way they wanted me to do it. So in order to have tons and tons of... Yeah, I figured you want pictures. I don't know where those pictures are, actually. I may have them, or it's possible my friends have them. don't remember who has those pictures these days. I remember the best part being the fact that we found Wolfman gloves. We found Wolfman gloves that were like basically just very sheer gloves with the fur around the edges, and we actually glued on like, you know, like wolf claws onto the gloves, which is a lot better than what we did the previous year, which was gluing the wolf claws right onto my fingernails, which took days before I was able to get them off completely. Alright, where are we at now? I feel like I'm stalling a little bit. Bar glued this part. It wasn't quite that bad. I was able to get some of it off of my hands that night, but not all of it. And also, Terror Sweat did not remove it fully. In cases like that, it's only time. It's only time that takes it out. Hey, Lady Hungamunga, how's it going? Thanks for coming. Happy Christmas Eve to you too. Sean mentioned earlier that he was going to be, he was going to have you guys sit down for a reading of the Night Before Christmas. I'm not sure if that's taken place yet or not. Sean could. Hi to Sean and to Kiddo. Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming. Thanks for spending this small part of Christmas Eve with me. I actually very much appreciate it, and I hope you guys know that. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm definitely stalling a little bit because what I do next is just going to be one huge bravery test. And that is going to be to reintroduce all of these little parts that I did in pencil earlier, but going over it all in white, like this. Probably shouldn't have erased that vanishing point, though. That was a bad call. And I'm going to probably regret it as we continue with this. Oh, quiet you. Okay. Lucky I got a shot of hard cider and 2/3 of a Jack and Coke in me now. Did not originally intend this to be a drinking stream, but sometimes it just works out that way. Fine line between bravery and stupidity. Yes, that is. Those are wise words right there. Very wise words. I'm going to consider it a very minor Christmas miracle. I don't want to. I almost don't want to jinx this, but I consider it a minor Christmas miracle that all of my white pens seem to be cooperating with me tonight for this thing that I'm trying to do right here. Daredevil live in New York City too? Did they all just live there? Yeah, pretty much. In the Marvel universe, the vast majority of Marvel superheroes live and operate in New York City. This was, in many different interviews, Stan Lee would admit in many different interviews that he made this decision purely as a way to compensate for his famously bad memory. And since he was born and raised in New York, it was just a lot easier for him to remember locations and landmarks if they were in the place that he had lived in most of his life. So the concept of the shared Marvel universe was something born out of pure convenience. It ended up working out well, though. It created a great many storytelling opportunities. Having a Is he responsible for all the Marvel dudes? No, he is not. Stan has had a hand in a great many characters in the Marvel Universe. Always with the aid of one or more different artists. Most notably Jack Kirby, who I've talked about many times on the stream, who co-created Captain America with Joe Simon back in 1941. It's actually a source of it's usually a source of great contention in comic book circles as to what extent Stan created the characters that he's normally credited with creating. I'm usually content to say that, you know, he parents were Jewish too. Yeah, no, I knew that. Talking about Stan or Jack? Yeah, Stan, I'm aware, you know. Yeah, Stan I'm aware of. Real name, Stanley Martin Lieber. Like Jack, the child of Jewish immigrants. Also, like Jack, served in World War II, but in a non-combatant capacity. One day I'll tell you something you don't already know. When it comes to comics, I'd be very interested the day that happens. I'd be quite interested to know the day that happens. Yeah, Jack Kirby in particular, I've actually been to the block that he's grown up that he grew up on. So I'm familiar because I pass by his old neighborhood on many occasions. He grew up in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, basically right next to the Williamsburg Bridge. Never been to Stanley's place. Not Stan. I'm not quite sure where Stan grew up, but I've been basically to the same block where Jack's family grew up. There's a historical society, or historical organization called the Jack Kirby Museum, and those guys, the organizers for the Jack Kirby Museum, hold a lot of functions in and around New York City, where they display, they have exhibitions of his artwork. They have, talks about, his impact on the greater pop culture over the years. One year they did one of those art exhibitions. Basically, like 3 houses down from the house that Jack grew up in. And I actually went to that exhibition. It was really cool. They had like census records of Jack's family having lived at that residence, that sort of thing. Yeah, maybe one day I'll find out where Lana Del Rey grew up, and I'll pay her out her place of visit. Maybe I'll do that one day. If she still lives in New York. Yeah, probably. I doubt she still lives in Coney Island, though. Let's see. Now comes the real bravery test. This is going to take a little bit more planning and a lot more luck to do what I'd like to do here. Actually grew up in Manhattan because of the Queen of Coney Island. Oh wow. Still a bunch of oh, got lucky, I think. Alright. How do I want to do this next? Talk about a real bravery test. Here we go. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I can fix that fairly well enough. Actually, I can probably use this to cover some of this stuff up too. Yeah, that'll work for now. Tell you what, let's try to do this in pencil first, just to make sure that I don't completely screw it up. Nope. Nope. That's the one. The whole idea here is, for those who are unaware, Daredevil in particular, Daredevil is blind in the comics. In the Netflix show of the same name, in the ill-fated 2003 movie, Daredevil was blinded in an accident involving some experimental chemicals. But as a result of those same chemicals that blinded him also enhanced all of his other remaining senses, including giving him a sort of sixth sense, which is a form of radar or echolocation. And that's actually how he's able to do his thing, basically, as a superhero. He has the ability to sort of send out a sort of radar signal that he can pick up on the general shape and location of objects, not unlike bats, dolphins, that sort of thing. Get the red out of here. So half the fun of most Daredevil comics actually is seeing how certain artists try to depict Daredevil's radar sense. This is pretty close to a way that I've always wanted to try doing it. This would probably be wildly impractical to try to depict in a, in a monthly comic, but I maintain it still looked pretty cool, and I don't think anybody's ever done it quite the same way. I've seen it done similarly, but not quite this way. Because you're basically trying to create sort of a visual interpretation of how a man who basically can't see can still sense the world around him. And I still maintain, like, not many there's a lot to dislike about the 2003 Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck playing Daredevil, but I'd still say they actually did a pretty interesting interpretation of that radar sense in that movie. Rest of the movie wasn't anything to write home about, but the way that they depicted that was actually pretty interesting, and I wish they had done something. I wish they had done something similar to that more often in the comics and stuff like that. Alright, be right back. I'm going to do a couple of things real quick, and then we'll finish this off. Oh, where would any of us be if it weren't for pot lids? That works. Let's put this aside. Next time I need to cook something. And the last little thing I want to do before we go is reintroduce important element here. Yeah, the paint markers have been behaving, but I had a feeling that luck was going to run out sooner or later. A very slight it's probably not even gonna register there. Let's see. Yeah, maybe a little. I'm probably literally the only one that's gonna care about that. That's okay though. This, however, I think a lot of people will end up caring about. Now I just gotta tighten some of these parts up so they look a little bit less sporadic, a little less unrefined. Right? I hope you guys agree, whoever's still out there. I'm glad you're still here, no matter what, even if you're multitasking, Lindsay. Like I said, I'm very close to being done here, so... Can I get away with this right here? Not really. Not really. Probably stick with this one. Ugh. That's not a good sign. Anybody who thinks global warming is a big hoax, just look no further than the unseasonable warmth that is Christmas Eve in New York City right now. It's been warm. I came prepared with the metric measurements, the metric temperature. It is by American measurements, it is 57 degrees here in my neck of the woods, which translates to 14 degrees Celsius. Which, yeah, no, it's like that's September temperatures right there. Better weather. I think at this temperature here right now, I'd normally contemplate wearing shorts. That's how warm it is right about now over here. very nearly went out wearing shorts today. It actually was a little bit cooler during the day today, which also means there's probably a storm coming. At this time of year, it usually only gets this warm when there's some kind of storm on the way, so anywho, this will probably be a little bit more interesting once I scan it. Actually, one last thing that I want to do. It's my old favorite thing. It's just to give this a little bit more of I was trying to give it. Which also means I'm going to end up having to recolor some of this. Let's dry it off so we can bring this home here. Remember to unmute. Might actually do is go straight to the whiteout pen. Since this is very hard to control, I'm going to be very careful with it. What lines you do away with. Know how to use it, can be a godsend. Very effective. You don't know what you're doing. You're gonna put yourself in a world of trouble, in a world of frustration and annoyance. Hmm. This is one of those that'll probably benefit greatly from when I scan it and wash out some of the midtones. Nope, wrong pen. As a matter of fact, I'm putting that away just so I don't get it confused. There's also another little experiment in just how much I can do without inking. And somebody who enjoys inking so much, that seems unusual. That might at a glance seem unusual. But I also think it's important, whatever you're most comfortable with, whatever you enjoy doing the most, it's important to move away from that from time to time. It's very important if you want to grow as an artist, if you want to get better overall, if you want to become familiar with new techniques and new ideas that you can then bring back to what you're most comfortable doing, or to what you consider yourself to be the best at overall. It's important to get out of your comfort zone on as regular a basis as you possibly can. It's important to challenge yourself, experiment with new techniques, learn things that you otherwise would not. All things being relative, it will benefit you. There are things to be learned in one way of doing things. If all you're used to is black and white ink drawing, there's still things to be learned when it comes to painting, when it comes to working in color, when it comes to working with those kind of textures that you can apply to your ink artwork. The more you learn, the more you have to work with. And for now, for the most part, I'm probably comfortable calling that done. Any objections? All right then. Whew. One day, there may come a day that I may be able to talk you. There may be a day that There may come a day that I may be able to talk you, Lindsay, into watching Daredevil with me. It's a really good show. I think you'd like it. Anyway. Oh wow, I didn't realize I've polished this off. That's good. 2 beers and a Jack and Coke, not bad for Christmas Eve. And we're done in under 3 hours. Anyway. This thing's still going? Good. Thank you everybody who stopped by. Everybody who chose to share a little piece of their Christmas Eve with me. It means a lot, trust me. It means a great deal to me. For anybody who was willing to even drop in and lurk. It's no small thing. This is a night. This is a special time of year and a special night. And anybody that was willing to drop in and hang out with me for a little while, I appreciate it very much. Very, very much. And I thank you. And the last thing I want to say before I go, let me get the boilerplate stuff out of the way. I'll be back on Saturday for Sketchbook Saturday. I will probably continue Red Week in some form or another. I have an idea of what I want to do for something that will probably be considered unrelated to Red Week, but I might try to throw something in related to Red Week as well. In addition to that, that's not a guarantee, but we'll see what happens. For anybody that's interested in finding out when I'm going live, what artwork I'm working on, what artwork I've done previously, you can follow me. I am Epic Benjamin J on all of the things, on Twitter, on Instagram, and here on Twitch. So you can follow any or all of those things and get as much of an update as I'm capable of providing as to when I'm going live and what I'm going to be doing. So give it a try, give it a follow. What have you got to lose, really? The last thing I just want to say is, for anybody that's celebrating Christmas this year, Merry Christmas first and foremost. I hope you have a happy holiday. I hope you guys all are doing something, doing what you would most love to be doing. It's a very unique Christmas this year in a lot of different ways. If you are able to spend the holidays with any of your loved ones, give them an extra hug for me. Not everybody is afforded that privilege this year. So if you are fortunate enough to be able to spend Christmas with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, Don't take it for granted. Trust me, it's a blessing. It's an important thing. So I hope you guys all know that, and I hope you guys act accordingly. I will see you guys again later this week. You guys have a happy holiday. Have a Merry Christmas. Whatever you celebrate it well. Celebrate it joyously. Celebrate it happily. I will be back again soon, and I hope to see you all when I am back. Never, ever, ever stop making friends through art. You make friends through art, and you have a friend for life. I guarantee it. And until I see you all again, everybody, please, more than ever, now, most of all, please remember, stay safe, laugh hard, ride fast, be kind.